Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode 46 of Be Growth Driven. I'm excited to have you here. And I'm excited about today's guest because we're going to talk about something that I think is an important thing for everybody involved. We all have problems through the day, and how we solve them is actually a very important, part of how we progress forward, how we move forward. So I have a special guest with me today, Morad Fiki, and his basically to just tell you a little bit about him. He's a honorable discharge from the U.S. Navy in 2013. He tackled high-end luxury real estate in the Houston market, and he's always strived to use innovative and unorthodox marketing strategies for high-end luxury residential properties. Equally, he's consistently thinking outside the box, as well as consistently using enhanced social media techniques to target online buyers for his high-end listings. He strives to be on the forefront, basically, of new things, the next new thing. And thus, he's been dubbed as the future of Houston luxury real estate. He's been named by the latest issue of Houston Luxury Magazine as one of Houston's top luxury real estate professionals. So I had a long bio here, but I think the just thing to do here would bring to me Morad on. Welcome to the show, Morad. How are you doing today?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. Thank you for the kind words. It's great to be with you.
You bet. I'm glad to have you here. Why don't we give you a chance? Why don't we introduce who you are? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I focus here in Houston luxury real estate, so being in Houston, Texas, just focusing on some of the finest homes that Houston has. We just have a great location, great weather, beautiful, everything from modern to traditional Mediterranean style. I mean, here and you have different areas of Houston that has a lot of the luxury homes. That's Memorial, River Oaks, the Woodlands, and just I love showcasing some of the finest that Houston has to offer.
Awesome, I love it. And now, tell me about, you're listing off like what's unique to your local market, but the principles that you're seeing right now, like in your local market, it's the same thing that anybody could apply, right? But your market, it sounds like, is what it comes down to.
Absolutely. And the thing is, the awesome thing about Houston is the cost of living in Texas is relatively low. So, you could get, like, for instance, we have a $4 million house on the market here in Memorial, and it's 8,500 square feet on 1 acre. Huge, right? Oh, wow. And Memorial is prime real estate. So 1 acre in Memorial is very expensive, and when I say expensive, that's about $2 million, $2.5 million. But if you go to another market like, say, Manhattan or Miami, you're going to get a lot less square footage. You're going to get, a penthouse in Miami, or in New York, not even that, a 1-bedroom apartment is the same as an 8,500 square foot home on a 1 acre lot here in Houston. So you can buy a lot more. You get a lot more bang for your buck, and you get your money travels a lot further in Houston.
Right. So now, I mean, if the whole topic that we're talking about here today is in love with the problem or the solution, what have been some of the problems that you've encountered as you've dived into the real estate market? Because we probably have some people that are maybe just diving into real estate right now. When you got started, what were some of the challenges?
Did I lose you for a second? Are you back?
I got you back. I got you back. Yeah.
The last thing. So a lot of the problems that I'm dealing with, I mean, I would say probably any high-end agent is you have a lot of sellers who want more than their property's worth.
Right.
And so kind of getting them, I would almost say 9 out of 10 people want way more than what it's worth. It's just getting them to see the reality and using data to show where the value lies.
Right.
So I love getting people top dollar, but we also have to work within the market constraints and what is the property actually worth. And it's very personal because this is someone's home, so they all, feel, no, it's worth this because I did all these things to it or whatnot. So,
right.
Yeah.
The first part is education. So when we start talking about, hey, the problem or the solution, you got a client that's got a house they want to sell. It's definitely something that could sell on the market. But like what you're talking about is, hey, you got a situation where that client, of course, has this personal attachment now, even though they want to sell it, and they're trying to overcome that. I think that's applicable to not only real estate, but a number of different areas as well. How have you found ways to overcome that? Because that's, we're talking about sales oftentimes, and so the lessons we learn in one industry are applicable to another. How did you overcome that?
Oh, absolutely. A big key is a win-win situation. I try to find win-win situations for everybody. You have a buyer and you have a seller, and they both have conflicting interests because the seller wants, to maximize the value in their property, and then the buyer wants to get a great property at a great price.
Right.
So how do you mitigate those concerns? And often you got to find somewhere in the middle where everyone feels happy, where they're happy with their sales price, what they're selling their property for, and they're happy with the purchase price and the value they're getting for what they're paying. And so it's just meeting in the middle and finding a happy medium is what I call it.
Right. It's finding that work, that right. Your problem solving, what you're trying to do basically at that same point is making sure that you're getting the buyer on the right product, right? That's going to help, move the seller, right?
Yeah, exactly. So getting the buyer to understand the value that they're buying, and also feeling that their value is increasing over time. That way, because real estate is an investment, it's a great, and I know Grant teaches us that the home you live in is not an investment because it's not paying you. I would say he's right to a certain extent, but at the same time, it's still an investment in that, over time, we expect it to rise in value. And people think that, well, my house is rising in value, but the fact of the matter is homes do not appreciate. Homes only depreciate. It's just like a car. The appreciation is the land. The land is what appreciates. And hopefully the land appreciates enough over time in that you can, realize a gain when you do sell.
Right. Well, is that rule kind of applicable across the board? Because I mean, I haven't heard that before. That's like, interesting to hear that, hey, that the house doesn't appreciate, it's the land.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I see the land values go up, right? I see my tax values go up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Over time, homes lose value because the electrical, the plumbing, the roof, the foundation, it's aging. So, at a certain point, all of that has to be replaced. And then at another certain point, the home has to be torn down and built from the ground up. When you have a 40, 50, 60-year-old home or older, there comes a point where the law of diminishing returns teaches us that it doesn't make sense for me to keep updating this house and it won't rise in value anymore. There comes a certain point, and we see that here in Memorial all the time. The older homes are just scrapped, and people are paying. Here in Bunker Hill, where I live, the half-acre lots are worth about $1.2 million. That's just half an acre, and that's just the dirt. So when you have the 60-year-old homes that are on these, really you're paying land value and you're scraping them. So over time, the home depreciates. Now the land is what appreciates, but what you really have to look at is make sure you're purchasing in an area that's appreciating. In Memorial, and usually in most metropolitan areas, you're looking inside the, in what we call is the hot zone, and that's the central district of any city, which starts downtown and then gets in those areas. Usually around downtown and nearby to downtown is the central district, where that land appreciates rapidly. And once you get outside of the central district and you're in the suburbs, you start seeing the opposite effect. You start seeing, okay, you're getting newer homes, you get more land for the same price, but that land isn't as valuable. It takes longer to appreciate. And so when people ask me, they're like, okay, I want a house, or I want this is my budget. It's 1 million, 1.5, 2 million, whatever the case is. You know, I ask them, what's more important to you? Is it land? Do you want more land, or do you want to be in a prime location? Because after you get central district, the price per square foot goes up. So you're going to get less house and less land for the same price, but the value of that land is much more valuable.
Right. So now, knowing this as you kind of go into the market, how has this affected like your strategies that you've used to market to keep business growing? I mean, it's that you're dealing with all these variables, which a lot of people would say, well, these are the problems I got to deal with. I mean, you obviously don't look at it that way.
Yeah, no. So, you know, especially during COVID, when homes weren't, you know, easily accessible, a lot of people took their homes off the market, didn't want to show them. You know, we had to get really creative and start showing homes virtually, start using a lot of videos, social media. I do a lot of social media content for listing homes and publicizing them so that they're seen. And the advantage is they can be seen worldwide. So you have people in Dubai or people, you know, in other parts of the world that can see these homes and say, wow, you know, I get all of that for $3 or $4 million. It's fantastic.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, now have you had that situation happen where you got somebody from around the world that's come in to buy a property?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All the time. And especially, I mean, there's people who like to do what we call land bank, where they want to, you know, put some money away or put it into an investment that is going to appreciate over time. And, you know, they don't want their cash sitting in a bank account or people, you know, in other countries are nervous that, you know, hey, there's some political climate that maybe is not favorable to my business interest. Why don't I buy a property or an apartment complex or something in the United States where it's relatively safer and diversified? They can diversify that way, and they land bank.
Right. Right. Makes sense. I mean, so now as you've seen this happen in your market, like what are some of the basic, you know, if we were talking to a brand new real estate agents, what would be some of the basic social media strategies that you'd recommend to them that's helped you do this? Help you get this type of clientele?
Yeah, I would tell them to get on video, use video to your advantage. Everybody's scared to do video. And when I say everybody, I just mean the majority, because you see people like Grant and others who are on video all the time. I would say get on video. I mean, that's a way you can broadcast yourself to an entirely new audience and start to build relationships. People feel connected when they can see and feel and hear your energy. And so, you know, I would tell people just get off the woe is me, I don't want to get on video, and get on video and do it now.
It's simple. There's a lot of power in, you know, Instagram lives, YouTube reels, you know, YouTube shorts, right? You know, those types of things. LinkedIn, for crying out loud, too. LinkedIn opens up a huge audience, right?
Yeah. LinkedIn just launched their live platform where you can go live on LinkedIn. I know there's a certain few stipulations that they require, so they're not letting everybody do it, but you know, they've started doing that, so that's been great.
Absolutely. Now, if what are some of the more of the unconventional strategies that you found works?
A lot of the unconventional strategies is, you know, putting posts up where people can see the properties. I like using videos, and then I'll boost them and I'll target people based on their criteria. You know, people who might be looking for a $2 million house in this area at this price point. You know, who is interested or who is searching Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, Realtor.com. So I can hyper local target people who are looking for this type of a product. And if I pay Facebook, they will show my video to people. And that's really good. That's been great.
But I think the key thing there is not just that you're just going to go boost a post, right? Like on Facebook, Instagram, but you're going to go be very, very specific. You mentioned earlier that the data is where the value's at. And I think that's important for those watching. Like if you're going to apply some of the strategy, it's really understand your market. You can tell that Morad's got a clear understanding of what his market looks like, who's in that market. And that's just come with a lot of, I'm sure, experience, a lot of testing over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Boosting is the lazy way to promote on Facebook, because you boost it, you're just telling Facebook, hey, let more people see this, but you have no data. You're not telling Facebook, hey, I want these people with these criteria to see
Right.
this. So, I don't even use the boost function. I actually go deeper, way deeper.
Right. There you go. So, and you have to, because I mean, I've heard it said a lot of times, it's like just doing the boost function. It's like, it would be like handing your wallet to a stranger and saying, and trusting that they're not going to do anything with the wallet. It's just a random chance,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Along those lines.
yeah.
So
It's random. I mean, it's
what's
better
the,
than doing nothing, but
right.
I would be more tactical.
You're getting some
Yeah.
exposure. You're getting some exposure.
Oh yeah.
What if we were, as we kind of talk about like the unconventional ways, what's the number way that you found getting attention on social media? Since social media is such a powerful tool that you use.
The number one way that I found is being active, posting every day, being
Right.
consistent. So, even at times I feel like I'm not consistent enough, and really consistency is key. You've got to teach the algorithms that you are here and you're here to stay and you're here every day and you're putting out content.
Right.
So, people post here and there. That's just not building an audience.
Right. And I've seen that too, where people will be like, well, I tried it for a week and no one answered. No one messaged me.
Yeah.
No one liked it,
I hear that all the time. Real estate agents are the worst at that.
Yeah. Well, it's because it takes effort, right? It takes some effort to lean in and put the pressure on, right? For things to happen. And now when you're marketing, when you started off of this, what were the main KPIs, the key performance indicators that you looked for? I mean, obviously you're trying to sell a house or you're trying to get a listing. That's the ultimate goal. But what did you use as a measurement?
Well, I would say the first thing is video views. I want to know how many people are watching my videos, how many people are seeing my content. And then you have to go deeper than that. How long are people watching? Where are they dropping off? Where is someone getting bored with what I'm talking about and dropping off? That's when you look at it at that level, it helps you know what type of content I should produce going forward and what do people like, what people don't like,
right,
etc.
Right. So now has that changed, like how you start videos, how you end the videos, or what you put in the middle?
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. A lot of people don't want to get started because they're waiting for it to be perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. So I've changed over time, and the thing is, over time you get better too. So I've changed the way I do my videos, the way I do my lives, the way I stream, and I'm always going to be changing.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. You're bringing out some key things, because even in my conversations, like with real estate and even other industries, it's like they're waiting for it to be just perfect. They're waiting for that landing page to be all the way done. They don't have this going and they don't have this going. And it takes months, and they take months and months and months, and they finally get started and they run out of cash flow, or they run out of runway, essentially. So
yeah. What I've seen is not only waiting for it to be perfect, but they'll do it once or twice, like you said, and then quit. It didn't work. I mean, people want instant gratification, and that's not realistic.
Right.
Consistency is where you get results.
Right. Well, and the interesting part, I'm sure over time, like as you started looking at the stats of like how long people watched a video, when on average did they click in the video? And that's an important thing for people to watch. Is like go back and like armchair quarterback, your videos, look at those stats and say, okay, I said this, this, and this leading up to this, and that's where my spike went, right? Exactly. That's where the engagement happened. And so it tells you, hey, this works. Do it again.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Now, if you were working with a real estate agent right now, let's say they're just starting a new market, what would you recommend to them? Would you recommend, hey, roll up your sleeves and get at this first, or hire a marketing agency?
No, I would tell anybody, like, start organic, like you said, roll up your sleeves, get out there, put content out there, talk to as many people as you can before you start spending money. You can't throw money at a problem because you don't want to do the hard work. Like, do the hard work, and then the money should amplify your efforts, not be a replacement for them.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, and it's a cumulative thing, right? As far as,
Yeah.
you got to keep building on it, keep building on it, keep building on it.
Oh yeah.
Have you had those moments where you've kind of been like, hey, I want to kind of quit on this. This is a lot of work when you started off.
I think everybody has discouraging moments, but one thing about me is I've never been a quitter. So, you just got to roll up your sleeves, keep pushing forward. If something's not working, like adjust.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why 96% of businesses fail within 10 years is because there are quitters. So many people quit 3 feet from goals.
Right.
Or they want instant gratification, and that's not realistic. Anything worth anything of substance, it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes commitment, and it takes unwavering. So, yeah, there's been times where I felt bad and been like, that's just business,
Right.
Especially real estate. I mean, there's days we have great days, there's days that suck, but you just got to press forward and keep pushing.
Well, I think that's really any industry. The guy that's hitting the phone to make a sale of, a $300 product to the guy that's hitting it for $50,000 products, right?
Yeah.
Anything takes courage in that regard. I mean, you're going to have courage in order to stick with it. What would be the best way if people wanted to get in contact with you? Maybe they just want to say, hey, can you help me out? Can you coach me a little bit on what you've done so they can learn? Or if maybe they want to buy a house, what would be the best way?
To buy a house?
To reach out to you, to make contact with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I would say, I'm on Instagram, Morad.Fiki, at Morad.Fiki, and then also my website, HoustonLuxuryRealEstate.com, which I will add is the #1 website for luxury homes in Houston, Texas. So HoustonLuxuryRealEstate.com, I'm on there. Hit me up. I've definitely love to be of service. And Morad.Fiki on Instagram, also Morad Fiki, luxury home expert on Facebook, Twitter, at Morad Fiki. So yeah, I'm on all the platforms. Hit me up, TikTok as well. So whatever serves you best, reach out and touch me. I'll be happy to be service.
Right. And I would say here, I got your website up. So he's got his phone number on his website. He's got a way to connect with him on Facebook. He's got all his social handles right there at one spot. So if you're going to take something down to reach out to Morad, just go hit his website right there, HoustonLuxuryRealEstate.com. I'm tripping all over my words today. It makes it real.
It happens. It happens.
I don't get paid for my speech.
But you will.
Exactly. I get paid for solving problems. Let's go. So, man, Morad, I really appreciate, you jumping on today. I know that you're a busy guy and you fitting this in your schedule. I deeply appreciate it. I'm honored. And I appreciate you shared some simple, nuggets. I think that for a lot of people, it's kind of like for that real estate agent that's starting off, or even any type of a sales, any type of salesperson starting off, it's roll up your sleeves and get in it. Start putting content out there so the world knows who you are. Right?
Exactly. No one is going to blow your brand up better than you, and no one cares to get your name out there better than you. So if you're not going to do it, why does anyone else care?
Right. I would say too, because you're part of a larger real estate group, Keller Williams, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, but this is still something that you've taken upon your shoulders. Like, hey, this is my responsibility to take care of it for me.
Oh, right? Yeah. Fiki Properties and me, that's my personal brand and my vision and my commitment to transcend the Houston real estate business. And so, no one's going to do that better than me. No one can deliver what I can deliver to the public.
Right.
And so that's why, I've just been passionate about this.
Right. I love it. So if I were to kind of sum up some takeaways from here, the data is where the value's at, #1, right? You got to always create opportunities where it's a win-win. And in your case, you're doing a win-win with two customers, the buyer, the seller, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And, another one, a third one. So we got data is where the value's at. And of course you got me there because I love data. Make it a win-win. So anytime we look for an opportunity to make a deal happen, you always got to look for that opportunity to make it a win-win.
Yeah.
But then also too, it's like that consistency, that consistently showing up every single day. So when we talk about being in love with the problem or the solution, it's like, hey, you're only going to find solutions to the problems if you show up and you show up and you show up and you test it to see if it works.
Yeah.
And then of course it brings back in that data is like, look at the analytics there. So that way you can actually see what's working, that consistency where you're building your personal brand, and how important really to building that personal brand is to really blowing up, whether you're a self-employed, you're a solopreneur, you're an entrepreneur. Either way, you got to be consistent with that information, consistently put it out there. So,
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, hey, again, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate you taking the time with us today and sharing some of these real simple reminders that will, help anybody that applies them to really blow up. So,
thank you for your time, and thanks for reaching out. It's an honor to be on your show, and I'm happy to come on whenever.
Awesome. I love it. We'll have you back on again, my friend. And for those of you that are watching, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us today. Let us know in the comments like what you took away from this. I know it's kind of a brief segment, but really what we want to do is give you some information that you can put to action today. And definitely tune in next week for episode 47. We're bound to have a fantastic show lined up. And as always, be great because nothing else pays.
Thank you.